六四屠城37週年，我哋嘅故事未完。5月19號嗰日，我喺法庭做完結案陳詞，返到監獄，睇到新聞報道話，韓國星巴克因為以46年前嘅屠殺作宣傳噱頭，惹起公憤，集團會長急忙道歉，連行政總裁都被免職。然而喺平行時空嘅我城，唔單止燭光有罪，更加年年有人公然喺屠城嘅忌日、悼念嘅場所辦市集、裝喜慶，不收不查，冇後果，仲可以得到政府嘅大額資助。呢個就係文明同野蠻嘅分別。一個失去咗言論自由嘅社會，從來唔係淨係失去咗幾篇文章、幾場活動，而係往往會連靈魂都丟失。因為倫理生於人心，死於權力；生於選擇，死於唯一；生於質疑，死於服從。權力使人腐化係句老掉牙嘅說話，所以當權力意志滲透一切，成為人們行事抉擇嘅最高準則，社會嘅墮落亦都無可避免。但反過嚟講，要反抗權力嘅滲透，甚至想將權力關回籠子裏嘅話，就要從守住做人嘅底線開始，一步一步咁從權力手中奪回人性。打呢場官司就係咁樣嘅一個嘗試，係在於要求自己唔講唔相信嘅說話，唔做唔應該做嘅事，而唔去計較乜嘢成敗得失。難唔難呢？但係呢個都不過係普通嘅人性。有邊個天生鍾意講違心嘅說話，做違心嘅事呢？做最真實嘅自己，本來應該係最自然、最容易嘅事。我冇咩大志，想像中嘅烏托邦其實都不過係一個人人都可以活得舒暢自在、生活真實一啲、容易一啲嘅地方。但過分集中嘅權力，從來就係最扭曲人性嘅哈哈鏡。所以制衡權力，結束專政，無可退讓，無從迴避。守護六四嘅記憶，其實都就係喺度守護緊同一條人性嘅底線。當我哋可以按照自己良心所向，多行一步，權力嘅領地亦都會少咗一分。喺六四呢一日，請繼續去紀念、去記錄、去分擔、去同行，去做嗰個更好、都更自然嘅自己啦。喺六四呢件大是大非嘅事情上面，可以站穩腳跟，我哋就可以鍛鍊出抵禦權力腐蝕嘅抗體。而呢種能力，正係打破專政輪迴、終結權力崇拜最可靠嘅依仗。今年六四屠城37週年，我繼續喺獄中進行37小時絕食。請唔好忘記，喺權力與獨裁嘅光環背後，隱藏住普通人嘅血同埋破碎嘅夢。遺忘正係民主走向衰亡、走向終告嘅根源。知己嘅故事我哋已經講完，希望大家可以接力講埋落去。喺記憶與改寫記憶嘅抗爭，我哋嘅故事未完。
釋放鄒幸彤！釋放鄒幸彤！釋放鄒幸彤！
Chau Hung-tong. On 19th of May, after delivering my closing submission in court, I returned to prison to find news reports stating that Starbucks Korea had sparked a public outrage by using a massacre from 46 years ago as a marketing gimmick. The group's chairman hastily apologised and the CEO was dismissed. Yet in my city, as if in a paralleled universe, not only are candlelit vigils deemed criminal, But year after year, people openly hold markets and put on festival displays in the anniversary of the massacre at the very sites of remembrance, without a shred of shame or remorse. These organisers face no consequences. Instead, they are even substantially government funding. Here, conceivably, lies the line between civilization and barbarism. A society that loses its freedom of speech never just loses a few articles or events, it loses its very soul. Morality is born of human heart and dies at the hands of power. It is born of the choices and dies in the face of uniformity. It is born of inquiry and dies in the face of blind obedience. Power corrupts is a hackneyed phrase, but when will the power permeates everything and becomes the supreme criterion for human actions and decisions, the decline of society becomes inevitably. Conversely, resisting the encroachment of power, or even attempting to put it back in its cage, requires a steadfast return of fundamental human values, reclaiming our humanity from its clutches step by step. This legal battle is one such attempt. I ask myself not to speak words I do not believe, not to do things I ought not to do, or act against my conscience. Who is born with the inherent desire to speak insincerely or act against their own conscience? Being one's truest self ought to be the easiest thing, a most natural thing in the world. I harbour no grand ambitions. The utopia I envision is a simple place where everyone can live comfortably and freely, where life is a little more authentic and a little easier. Yet, like a funhouse mirror, the excessive concentration of power has always warped human nature. Checking that power and ending dictatorship is therefore non-negotiable. There is no room for retreat or evasion. To preserve the memory of June 4th is to safeguard that very same baseline of human decency. When we take that extra step in accordance with our conscience, the reach of authoritarianism power shrinks by that very measure. June 4th is a matter of principle. By standing firm on it, we can build the resilience much needed to resist the corrosive effects of power. This resilience is our most reliable safeguard against the perpetration of dictatorship and the cult of power. This year marks the 37th anniversary of June 4th massacre, and I will continue to hunger strike for 37 hours while imprisoned. Please do not forget, behind the facade of authoritarianism, power lie and blood-shattered dreams of ordinary people. Within collective amnesia lies the ultimate demise of democracy. Now that we have concluded the chapter of Hong Kong, of the Hong Kong Alliance, please take up the baton and charge forward. In the struggle between memory and rewriting of it, our story is far from over.